A hurricane shelter analysis being conducted as Dominica watches tropical storm Danny, predicted to become a hurricane by Thursday. Concrete works begin on Carholm-Salisbury farm access roads, and Prime Minister Skerrit appeals for a change in the attitude towards agriculture. I am Lourianne Graham-Carter with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up.
This is freedom, this is life, happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that
when you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good.
I'm so alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey,
KFC, so good for everyone.
Here's a cool way to make some quick cash with the Dominica National Lottery. Simply go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery, and like our page. Fill out a simple form and that's it. Every week, one lucky fan will win $250. Yep, 250 big ones just for liking our page. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? Hurry to facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery and start winning. Draw takes place every Friday.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
You have a sense of style. It's elegant. It's chic. It's modern. It's timeless. At Quartz, we have the widest range of furniture to suit any style. So you're sure to find something that's you. Furniture is fashionable. Only at Quartz. Bringing value home.
And don't waste time, eh? You know we deliver all over Dominica. The customer waiting for their product. All right?
Delivery from Muslim store. Anybody home?
Whether you rent or you have your own home, the Muslim store is the place to get what you need. We deliver.
We begin with the weather. The first tropical storm of the hurricane season could become the Atlantic's first hurricane by Thursday. A press release from the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration indicates that the weather system is expected to approach the Eastern Caribbean by early Monday. National Coordinator of the Office of Disaster Management, Don Corriet, encourages Dominicans to take the necessary precautions as we approach the more active part of the hurricane season. He identified August into September as the peak of the hurricane season.
So it's no surprise that we have heightened activity in the Atlantic. And therefore, what we want to encourage the general public to do is to remain vigilant, to take the advice from the Met Office and also of the Office of Disaster Management. We're going to be monitoring the movement of that storm throughout the next couple of days, and we will provide the necessary information to the general public.
Officials of the Office of Disaster Management hope that a hurricane shelter analysis being conducted island-wide will ensure that all shelters are brought up to standard. On Wednesday, the Office of Disaster Management participated in a training and analysis exercise to determine the readiness of shelters and to update stakeholders on critical information required in the case of a hurricane. The activity, being funded by the European Union through the World Bank, seeks to improve the methods of collecting data.
We've had the three critical components: the safety of the shelters, what we call functionality, looking at the amenities, issues of gender, access, and so on, and the criticality, meaning why is a shelter in that community more important than another? There are certain factors, it's remoteness, exposure to hazards, and so on.
Joseph says this year the ODM did an assessment, and this week they will be presenting the findings of the analysis.
Several agencies, the physical planning is leading on the criticality aspect. The safety component, which looks at the structural integrity, is Public Works Department. The functionality is local government, supported by the environmental health. And so all these agencies are actually working under the umbrella of the National Emergency Planning Organization. The hope is that you build capacity on island, so even after the project, we have some knowledge transfer and the process can be sustained.
On Friday, the ODM will meet with government and non-government stakeholders to present the information on the process and analysis conducted.
Part of that process was part of the project to identify minimum standards for every shelter. Every shelter should have shutters. They should have water. They should have access for the elderly, so wheelchair access, toilets for both male and female. Some standards must be set, and we're hoping at the end of the process we would do the resource mobilization to ensure that our shelter stock is brought to that standards.
On to agriculture now. Rehabilitation of the Carholm-Salisbury Heights Farm Access Road could rekindle interest in farming for many who had abandoned their farms due to road conditions.
A government delegation led by the Honorable Kelvin Daru visited the road project on Wednesday. The project, which began with shoulder bleeding, has now entered another phase, that of concrete works intended for 4 locations. Work is progressing on 2 of those 4 locations. This is a major farm access road for farmers of St. Joseph, Mero and Salisbury communities.
As we are quite aware, this road was tied in with much controversy over the last few months, where we saw some protest action being undertaken. But very importantly, I must say that the government of Dominica has responded in a very practical way to address the issues concerning the farmers. And as you will see that we've begun works on the road to ensure that we can bring some sort of relief to the farmers of these communities. We've engaged 2 contractors. One contractor has a contract to the tune of $254,000, and the other contractor has a contract to the tune of $162,000 thereabout. We also engaged, before these contractors, we also engaged 2 other guys who did the shoulder bleeding and preparatory works for the actual concrete works that you are now seeing. It is of utmost importance to note that the Prime Minister, the Minister of Agriculture, and staff of the Ministry of Public Works and the Ministry of Agriculture visited this road, and it was after that visit that the Prime Minister ensured that funds were made available to have works done to upgrade this road.
Mr. Daru has also commended farmers of Salisbury, St. Joseph and Mero for their hard work and productivity.
Obviously, we are living in a time when resources are scarce, and there are several other farm roads which these monies could have been used for. But as a Member of Parliament, I'm very pleased that priority was given to the Salisbury Heights Cuba Farm Access Road, because this road, you can either traverse it through the Mero end or through the Salisbury end and go out on either end as well. So the farmers of Salisbury can also pass on the Mero end to access their farms. And I'm very pleased that we've seen works commence. In fact, the work thus far, I'm very pleased with the kind of work that has been done. The road is 6 inches thick. One contractor has about 500 meters of road to undertake, and the other contractor has about 300 and so meters to undertake. So all in all, government continues to place tremendous focus and emphasis on the agricultural sector, and we would see that being manifested again in the budget of this year, where additional funds have been made available to the Ministry of Agriculture to lend to farmers, and also to address the issue of farm access roads.
Meanwhile, a change in our approach to agriculture and farming could position farmers to take advantage of what the Prime Minister says is a huge domestic export market.
The Prime Minister says the Labour Party is the first party in government to invest local funds in agriculture. Responding to a question at a town hall meeting in Trafalgar Tuesday, Mr. Skerrit said previously investments in agriculture, and particularly bananas, had always been determined by European Union funds. But he says what's needed now is a complete change of attitude toward agriculture, and government has been doing its part in providing the enabling environment.
We've also increased in the technology in the farms. Back in the days, yams were seasonal. Now you can get yams year-round in Dominica. Year-round in Dominica. I can say to you, my friends, that there is money to be made in agriculture. What we have to address is the high cost of labor. You have people come to work for you. If you get 1 hour from them, you get plenty. We have to change our attitude towards on the farm because we can't compete. That a man comes because $50 for 7 to 11 is a lot of money for somebody. But you sometimes, most times, and I speak to farmers, most times you just cannot get consistent labor.
Coming up on the Channel 5 News, the expected impact of pack houses on the quality of Dominica's exports.
Whenever a bottle of Major Brandy is opened, you get 3 wishes granted. First, your wish that you can rely on your favorite drink to have that great taste each and every time will come true. Second, your wish that your favorite drink would always be available at your favorite bar in Dominica will be granted. Your third wish that the price would be so low that you can buy that special someone around without feeling a pinch in your pocket. 3 reasons to make Major Brandy your #1 choice.
There's a place in Portsmouth that's mellow.
The products and services are just mellow.
Located on Harbour Lane in Portsmouth, next to the St. John's School, it's Milo's Bakery.
Milo's Bakery offers a wide variety of tasty pastries and breads for your satisfaction.
Baked fresh and soft.
So come to Milo's for your tasty pastries.
Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday and from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays.
Call 445-4044 today.
Here's a cool way to make some quick cash with the Dominica National Lottery. Simply go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery, and like our page. Fill out a simple form and that's it. Every week, one lucky fan will win $250. Yep, 250 big ones just for liking our page. How cool is that? So what are you waiting for? Hurry to facebook.com/Dominica National Lottery and start winning. Draw takes place every Friday.
The right room temperature is essential for a good night's sleep, and your broken AC unit is making matters worse. You toss and turn all night, and fanning is not the answer. It's time to end your nightmare. Come to Tong Refrigeration Center at Foncollet, where we meet all your air condition needs. Tong Refrigeration Center also provides a range of parts, including circuit boards, compressors, capacitors, coil, gas, and more. Visit Tong Refrigeration Center at Foncollet today. Now you can sleep in comfort.
Your style, your taste, your look. As individual as you are. Create the room that's all about you with new home furnishings from Quartz. And when you shop today, get a free gift of your choice. Plus, you can make a purchase now and pay absolutely nothing for 90 days. So create the room that's all about you with home furnishings from Quartz. Bringing value home.
It's a summertime affair. Summer 2015 is blazing hot, and Marpin 2k4 just made it hotter with special deals on our internet service. Sign in for PingNet between July 27th and September 4th to serve with us and get half off installation and half off your modem. Pay your outstanding balance and get reconnected for free and get half off your first monthly bill. Get even more when you sign up this summer during our PingNet promotion, as Marpin 2k4 will give some lucky customers an extra reason to smile with our giveaways. Come visit us at our Roseau location to get on board our fast and reliable service. It's time to serve. It's a summertime affair in the atmosphere.
Thank you for staying with us. The highway maintenance levy most recently imposed on Dominica is a call for improved road etiquette. At the Keeping It Real in the community meeting in Trafalgar on Tuesday, the Prime Minister continued to defend the highway maintenance tax announced during the budget presentation in July. Mr. Skerrit says part of the money from the levy will go towards public education to eliminate certain common practices. He called on motorists to be more mature and responsible in their use of the highways.
Simple things like stopping and chatting or parking around a blind corner, traveling at excessive speeds, especially in areas frequented by visiting drivers, leaving children and pets unattended in a vehicle, not wearing seatbelts, whether driving or as a passenger, playing music so loudly you cannot hear the approach of another vehicle, far less the siren of the police, fire, or ambulance vehicle. There's also the issue of throwing litter from vehicles, driving through rain and splashing pedestrians, and operating vehicles without well-functioning lights, whether at the back or the front of the vehicle.
The Prime Minister called the $100 imposed on vehicle owners a fiscal measure.
The $100 you are asked to pay towards the building and maintenance of our vast road network is statistically insignificant in terms of the total overall sum spent on roads in this country. But by contributing a little something every year, I am hopeful that such sacrifice would foster greater appreciation for the work of those charged with maintaining our road surfaces.
The Minister of Finance also called the levy a byproduct of irresponsibility that the government is seeking to address.
40% of road users in Dominica have not been paying the road tax. In other words, they have been driving on the roads of this country unlawfully and illegally. On the other hand, there is the consideration of the loss of revenue as a result of such delinquency. But over and above this is the even more serious consideration of these vehicles not having the required level of insurance cover.
Mr. Skerrit says the road maintenance levy is not an increase in vehicle registration or license fee. More in agriculture, farmers have always been concerned about the market for their produce, particularly with so much being said about increased production.
The Minister for Trade had some answers when he spoke to an audience at a town hall meeting in Trafalgar on Tuesday. 2 multipurpose pack houses are expected to be operational in Portsmouth and Roseau by the end of the year. This is part of government's efforts at securing markets by meeting and maintaining the required standards in terms of quality of produce.
And so we have developed a series of training manuals for the manufacturing, not manufacturing, but the handling of fresh produce from the farm into the multipurpose pack houses and to make it ready for export. And towards that end, we also have trained 20 persons as fresh produce inspectors. One, to ensure that we get the quality, and also to create employment. We have trained 20 fresh produce inspectors who will actually inspect the produce on the farms and also inspect them at the multipurpose pack houses to ensure that the fresh produce meet those standards.
$1 million has been secured from the European Union to purchase additional lab equipment for the National Center for Testing Excellence at Stock Farm. The pack houses will provide certified, efficient handling, packaging and storage facilities for fresh produce in order to meet market standards.
We will now be in a position to really implement the Fresh Produce Act, because we had the Fresh Produce Act for a number of years now, but without those other mechanisms in place, we couldn't really implement the Fresh Produce Act. And so we'll ensure that according to the Act, that all fresh produce in Dominica to be exported pass through the pack houses. And also that will curb the whole issue and the prevalence of Pradia lacini around Dominica, because you would have to be certified and then all of your produce will have to go through the pack houses so that you wouldn't be able to just sell produce to hawkers, vikivai on the side of the road anymore.
Agro-processors and crafters stand to benefit tremendously from the upcoming Shop Dominica campaign next weekend. On Wednesday, the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, DAIC, launched the 2015 Shop Dominica campaign. President of the DAIC, Jeffrey Baptiste, revealed that several patrons from the neighboring French islands frequented the island during the Shop Dominica weekends.
I can tell you, though, from feedback we have received, that we have a huge number of people who actually jump on the ferry from Martinique and Guadeloupe who come into Dominica in particular for that weekend to benefit from the deals that they get around this particular weekend. And in my mind, if someone can make the effort from Guadeloupe or Martinique or anywhere else to get into Rosa to do it, those of us who sit in Dominica, we really do not require significant effort for us to get into town and get into the business houses and benefit from some of the deals.
Secretary of the Dominica Manufacturers Association, Cheyenne Monell, encouraged agro-processors to be ready for the French arrivals.
We know for a fact that the French visitors, they love our agro-processed products. For example, the rum punches, the pepper sauces, the honey, things of that nature. So we are trying to encourage our local agro-processors, as well as other manufacturers, the arts and craft people, to come out and participate in the campaign, as well as to partner with other retailers, the hotels and restaurants as well, to promote their items.
Prime Minister Skerrit has reassured the people of Roseau Valley that government is committed to the economic transformation of their community.
The Prime Minister and Minister for Finance told residents of the anticipated benefits of increasing five-star hotel rooms in the country and the resulting jobs.
We have the range, which will start this year at 161 rooms. We have Silver Beach, that has received initial approval by the committee, by the government. There's 200 rooms. We have a hotel that will be built in the heights of Soufrière, I believe 100 rooms. You're talking about Tranquility Beach in Salisbury, I believe 68 rooms. The Moroccan Hotel is 68 rooms. And a number of other investors, another investor who will be buying some land in Portsmouth, 10 acres of land to build a hotel of 100 rooms. And all these people are prepared, are gearing to commence and to move forward and so forth. So in the next few years, we'll be increasing the number of rooms at the 4- and 5-star level in excess of 700 rooms. And one can appreciate the jobs that were created during the construction phases of these hotels, but critically, the employment that we created, permanent jobs that we created after the hotels have been constructed.
Mr. Skerrit told a post-budget town meeting in Trafalgar Tuesday night that investment in the Roseau Valley in the last 15 years had been significant. In fact, he said over $50 million had been spent on improving roads in the Roseau Valley because government understands the importance of the infrastructure to tourism in that part of the country.
That's news. A new man at the helm of the international governing body for athletics. That and more in your sports highlights coming up. In some netball action, Dominica national team continued their dominating spree in the 2015 Under-13 Netball Festival in Portsmouth. In the first of a doubleheader Tuesday night, Dominica Secondary Schools put down the primary school team 21-12. Shamil Daniel netted 12 from 21 attempts and Malivia Toussaint 9 from 13 for the secondary schools, while Trinise Hamilton scored 8 from 11 for the primary schools. In the second game, Dominica's national team demolished Anguilla 33-2. Etheline Telemac posted 21 from 34 tries and Janelia Phillip 12 from 21. Theandra Edmonds scored Anguilla's 2 goals in 3 attempts. Games continue on Wednesday at Wesley and will resume on Friday after a rest day on Thursday. Dominica Secondary Schools will try to put the national team to rest in Game 1, while Dominica Primary Schools and Anguilla national team will try to save some face. And in cricket, Dominica is heading into St. Vincent this week confident that they can return home with the 2015 Windward Island Cricket Tournament trophy. National captain Liam Sebastian says his team is ready and all that's needed is delivery on game day.
The guys are bowling well and the feeling is up to par at this point. So as long as we go in the tournament and we do what we have been training
And along the past couple of weeks, I see no reason why we cannot go outside there and defend our championship. And most likely what we're doing to do is to retain it, not just to go outside there and give a good performance and say that we're defending the championship, but we're looking to be back-to-back champions. And if we play to our potential and the way that we have been practicing with the intense work that we have been doing, I see no reason why we can't go outside there and do that.
There are a few new changes in the side from last year's tournament. Ray Kazimi is out following a recent vehicular accident and 2 newcomers are in. Nonetheless, the squad is still a formidable one, according to Sebastian.
Our bowling has been doing well over the past, well, I can't remember, but as it's been so long, bowling has been always doing well. So as long as we go out and do it to our potential, then I see no reason why we cannot fill the void that has been left by Ray's absence. And if somebody else is not up to par in a game or in a spell or something, I think we have the quality to adjust to whatever situations that we are faced with. But, you know, it's a game of cricket. You never know what can happen. But what I can guarantee is that everybody will go outside there and give their best. So we have a few guys who have been in and out, and 2 guys making the debut if they get selected this year. So that's basically the lineup. We have the core of the guys remains the same in Kavem, Tyrone, Jelani, Mervyn, and the rest of the guys. Also, we have Vincent Lewis making a comeback as well. So it's been besides the 2 new guys, most of the guys have been playing for the national team for a few years.
The team is vice-captained by fast bowler Tyrone Theophile. The rest of the squad reads Jelani Robinson, Gian Benjamin, Windward's under-19 captain Kasharsky John Louis, Kevin James, Mervyn Matthew, Joshua Challenger, Vincent Lewis, Courtney Ansem, Shane Shillingford, Kavem Hodge, and newcomers Kasim Peltier and Emmanuel Peter. The tournament runs from August 19 to 27. The team left Ireland on Wednesday. In more cricket, it will all be for pride when Australia takes on England in the final 2015 Ashes Test at the Oval. Following the record and heartbreaking series loss to England in the last test, Michael Clarke and his guys will have to put all their effort into this game to save some face. Also, Captain Clarke and opening batsman will hang up their putts and pack away their Aussie helmets at the end of this test. Rogers confirmed his retirement earlier this week.
I'm 38 this month, and I feel old, and there's other things to do in life as well. I think that's important. I mean, I've been lucky enough to play cricket as a living for nearly 20 years, and it's been amazing and a privilege. But everything good comes to an end.
Also, England's James Anderson will have to sit out from the final test, having not yet fully recovered from a side strain. In basketball, Detroit Blazers could end it all their 4th playoff game against Fashcash Prowlers. The 2 teams are set to meet for Game 4 at Trafalgar Wednesday night, with defending champs Blazers 1 game up in the best-of-5 series. Blazers took their 2nd game on Prowlers turf last Friday and will look forward to make a quick sweep in what has been a somewhat controversial final series. Meanwhile, Kyrie FM Old School and Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers have a date in Game 2 of their best-of-5 series on Wednesday as well. In some athletics action, a new man is at the helm of the international governing body of athletics. Olympic middle distance gold medalist Sebastian Coe was raised to the post of International Association of Athletics Federation President at the 50th IAAF Congress in Beijing, China on Wednesday. Coe will take over from Lanin Diak as 6th IAAF President from August 31 at the end of the IAAF World Championships. Tropical storm Danny continues its westward track over the Atlantic. The details in your weather report next.
The weather is brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Korea. Let's take a look now at some earlier satellite imagery and what it showed as increased cloudiness over Dominica as a result of the passing of a tropical wave. What is also of significance is convection associated with Tropical Storm Dani. At 5 p.m., Tropical Storm Dani was located at 11.5 degrees north and 42.0 degrees west, or about 1,325 miles east of the islands. Maximum winds was 50 miles per hour and it's moving west at 10 miles per hour. The projected path of Tropical Storm Dani takes it near the islands by Monday as a storm or a hurricane. Residents should keep monitoring the progress of this system. Earlier, radar imagery showed some scattered showers associated with the tropical wave, which I mentioned earlier. The weather tonight is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy, breezy with a few scattered showers, and similar conditions are expected tomorrow. Sea conditions will be moderate and waves are expected to be up to 7 feet. What can we expect for the next 3 days? Occasional cloudiness and scattered showers expected Thursday and Friday. An improvement is expected by Saturday. The weather for the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow: some thunderstorm activity expected in the southern portion of the island chain, while some occasional cloudiness with some scattered showers expected for the rest of the islands and Lesser Antilles. The international city forecast: some thunderstorm activity expected in Caracas, some overcast conditions with some rain in London, partly cloudy to cloudy skies expected with some rain in New York, and some sunny, beautiful conditions expected in Miami and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:51 a.m. and set at 6:26 p.m. Please remember, we are in the hurricane season. For up-to-date information, you could always visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for our next weather broadcast. Thank you.
Look, Mommy.
Perfect. When you've been here, you know what's important. Protect it with Sagicor. Wise financial thinking for life.
The headlines again: a hurricane shelter analysis being conducted as Dominica watches Tropical Storm Dani, predicted to become a hurricane by Thursday. Concrete works begin on Carholm-Salisbury farm access roads, and Prime Minister Skerrit appeals for a change in the attitude towards agriculture. Send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Lourianne Graham Carter. Thank you for watching.